Now, I've just said we're going to repair it. I don't know if it's economically viable. This could be the end of the 300ZX. We have bits to take more bits off of the 300ZX. We have about 9 different wire wheels here because they were like £3 from Toolstation. That one's come out the box. Chuck them down there. Yeah, we're taking this apart even more today, taking all this stuff out of here, and then hopefully taking back all the factory underseal and sealing it with, I can see your bottle already, whoosh, with some of this MIPA underseal, and hopefully tarting it up so we can put the suspension back in, which I still need to buy new bits for because it's bent, but we'll get that all cleaned up and hopefully have a solid car, which nothing solid about a Japanese car, is it? But let's get into it. Now, most of this stuff has actually been out already, and I've sort of just put it back in preemptively, not thinking about taking apart any of the suspension. Now, you'll see that this is a bit dented in here, and so's this. So before that goes back in, maybe not that bit, but I want to find a way to resolve this, make that hole back round again, so we can put a grommet in there to stop any water ingress. But to start out, I'm going to start by taking all this stuff out. I believe this just goes in, recirculates into the exhaust. I believe it's all emission controls. Hopefully we don't need to keep it, and hopefully we can get rid of it. So strip all this out. It's got a pipe that links all the way up to this here, which, yep, I've put back in already. And just take all that out, and then we can get in here with a wire wheel and hopefully get rid of a lot of this corrosion and old underseal, which ideally needs replacing. This is also another sign of the car being crashed. I don't know if you can see that on camera. That bolt is bent. So we definitely know that this car has been in some form of bump. I don't know how. Don't know if it was when it was in Japan, because of course this car is an import. But we'll just have to deal with it at the end of the day. No going back on this car with the stage it's in. I've got a lot of money in the car. Is that another bent one? Yep, another bent one there. But yeah, like I was saying, the amount of money I've actually got in this car in parts, time, there's no point going back. So we might as well just deal with what we've got, and hopefully, well, one, we'll get some new hardware, and two, we'll try and fix some of that crash damage. That is all that emissions bollocks removed. I think it's emissions. I will have to do some digging. But from behind here, it doesn't actually look too bad. I've undone these brake lines a little bit. Now, I'm not sure whether I'm going to remove the whole thing or whether I'm just going to slacken it off like I have done. Still need to remove this one here, because the thing is, these brake lines are very old. They're not corroded, but the fittings are, like the actual ends are. So I don't want to disturb them too much, because that could involve me having to basically replace them. And at the minute, I'm just trying to get this car done and finished. So if I can get it to a point where I can just pull it away, get behind it, and give it a cheeky wire wheel and then mask it off, I will do. Well, so much for that. It appears we're going to be replacing lines front and rear, because I've tried to get this nut off and it's just rounded. I've heated it, I've cleaned it, I've lubed it, I've done everything possible, and it just won't come out. So I'm now going to have to cut that out and replace the whole line, which is fun. Right, that line has been cut now, and I did say we might have to, well, we're going to have to replace it all now. But what I'm thinking is I can just basically splice into it somewhere and run a fresh bit of line there, and then get some braided lines to the calipers, and hopefully that should fix our issue. Right, so we have got our drill. It stopped dripping, mostly. And we have our wire wheel. So now it's just a case of probably spending the next hour trying to get all the rust and corrosion off of this side, which is not going to be fun. I'm about 2 hours into this and I am massively regretting it. So basically, whenever I use the grinding wheel, it just sort of smokes everywhere. So I'm trying to peel it off bit by bit with a screwdriver, which is taking years. But if I do it with a drill, then I'm just going to burn the drill out and keep going through batteries. So it's just a very slow process of doing this. And if you've not forgotten, we've got to do this to the whole car. Obviously not in this episode, but we've got to do all this again on the other side. So this is going to take me some time to do. Now it's a different day with the 300ZX because last night I found something which confirms this car's been in a crash. So we are in the wheel arch here. Now the first telltale signs were this was a bit bent in here and same like around there. And the fact that there were homemade camber plates on it, these ones here. That was one sign. And then of course this was a little bit dented. And here you can now see all the shitty weld that someone's done. So it's all right up to that point because they've not welded there, but all down there, it's just crap. And of course you've got that bit there. So this episode is no longer undersealing the 300ZX, it's fixing the crash damage on my 300ZX. Now, I've just said we're going to repair it. I don't know if it's economically viable. This could be the end of the 300ZX. So taking a deeper look into the car, we'll go over the bent bits. So, well, the saving grace from all this is that the subframe bolted up and the bolts for the subframe weren't bent. So that should all be in line. But it's this suspension strut tower and everything else which could cause an issue. So if you look down here, that is definitely not in line. That is not meant to be protruding out like it is. You look at that side's absolutely fine. This side has sort of collapsed. So I don't know whether that needs to be pushed up and out or pulled up. Lots of measurements need to be taken, and I need to find a frame doctor who will be willing to come out and look at this and see what's possible. So moving around to the side of the car, for the biggest giveaway that this car wasn't driving straight is these camber plates, homemade camber plates that the previous owner put on the car. They were there and there, had two of them, and that basically meant that he was pushing the wheels out a bit more because something in here isn't straight. You can see here, I don't know how well you can see that, but it is dented in quite a bit. Same there. Of course, you can see the fold there from the other side. So that would hazard a guess that needs pushing up. Then moving over here, that is normally bent in like that, but the fold there shouldn't be as severe. If the camera will focus, you'll be able to see how the seam has come away as well. Then up here, that bend, I don't believe should be there. I'm not 100% sure though. Obviously, like I said, you've got that on the back side. This had peeled away and I'd hammered it back flat. But this point here should be curved round. I'll show you the other side in a minute so you can see what I mean. But you can see here is all damaged. In here is all dodgily welded. So where does that piece actually go to? That piece doesn't go too far back, it just wraps round. So there's a potential that we could drill all the spot welds out of this and replace it with a new panel. So there's potential there. We can likely weld some bar onto that and pull it out there and there. As for this needs looking at by a frame doctor.
I'm nowhere near qualified enough to touch that. So it's going to be a long way off of this getting finished. And I don't even have bits for the engine. Now, if I had bits for the engine, I'd obviously be able to continue with that and continue building it, making progress whilst that is getting sorted out. But I'm still waiting to get the heads back, and putting the heads on is the next stage. Because, of course, we've got the block, we've got the pistons in, we've got the crank in, everything else. I need to wait for everything else to be done. But it must have had some big hit for it to do what it has done. So I'm over at the passenger side now, so I'll actually show you what I mean by how it should be uniform. So as you'll see here, there's no random bend up here. There is a bend there, but like I say, there's no cracking in it. Chassis leg there. To be fair, there's a bit that's a little bit dented in there, but I don't know if that is from an accident. That might just be, I don't know, it could even be rotten in there. But this bit here, the most important bit, you can see how that is uniform and in one shape, and that hole is not mangled. That's just got a rubber bung in it. So the angle of this doesn't actually look too bad. Just this bit has taken the brunt of the impact, and so has this. Now, a big telltale sign as well that this car was involved in an accident and has been repaired is, one, the car actually didn't come with a crash bar. Two, this is where the crash bar mounts on, and you can see that it's bent. Three, this light pod looks relatively straight, which is odd because then this one is bent and mangled, which could definitely explain why there's a slight bend in that chassis leg. The middle support is also bent up a little bit in the middle. I don't know how well you can see that, which once again isn't ideal. I mean, if I can't really jump on it and compress it down. That's cracking underneath me anyway. But yeah, this is not good at all. And the final telltale sign is if we look at this front wing off the passenger side and flip it over, you can see that it's starting to rust and deteriorate at the bottom, which on 300ZX is a very well-known issue. Whereas on the driver's side, you flip it up and look, it's pretty much mint in there. There's not a lot of rust, hazarding that this is off of a different car. So my question to you guys is, what do you think I should do? Now, of course, the 300ZX, like I've mentioned, is a dream car of mine, and there's nothing else I want more than to get this car on the road. Now, I'm toying with the idea of getting a frame doctor to come down here, take a look at the car, give his opinion, see what he thinks, see if it's fixable. If it is fixable and for a decent price, it's something I might go ahead with. Yes, it'll probably cost thousands, but weigh that up against the fact of going through the hassle of breaking this for parts and then having to buy another car and then put the engine that I'm building in that. You add up the cost of that and you're the same money in again. So leave a comment as to what you guys think I should do. Not a great way to end today's video. I'm certainly not feeling optimistic about the car, and it's just going to make this January series a lot harder just because I'm losing passion in everything now. Like, that's a dream car and I've spent a lot of money on it. I believe I'm around 7.5 grand into it now, and it's just gone. So leave a comment as to what you guys think I should do, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.